welcome back. It's good to see you again. I've got another one for you today. Now this is going to be a little bit shorter. Let's get started right now. I'm curious to see what you think about this one. It's a little dystopian, but it's also kind of nuanced. I think you'll see what I mean when I show you.
On today's Real Life Black Mirror episode, Ford just filed a patent for a car that turns into your debt collector. This is episode 2 of the Kill Switch Economy. It's 100% real. US patent number 2023-005-5958. The title, Systems and Methods to Repossess a Vehicle Assigned to Ford Global Technologies. And the language is insane. If you miss payments...
Hold on. Before we continue, let's verify this, right? Let's take a look. Is this true? Let's see. All right. So I did a little AI search. Just a simple one. I did the patent number, Ford patent, right here. The Ford patent, US 20230055958A1, outlines a system of repossessing vehicles that allows financial institutions and repossession agencies to disable vehicle functions or even move the vehicle autonomously if payments are not made. This technology aims to streamline the repossession process and reduce confrontations during vehicle recovery. That sounds okay at the start, except it also sounds kind of creepy. But you could see the justification there. If you've ever seen some of those videos of those guys, the repo guys, where they gotta go out there with their trucks and do all this sneaky shit to pick up people's vehicles and take off with them, it's insane. I'll show you here, you'll see what I mean. But man, there's people who've been shot over it. Of course, people die from this all the time. I mean, it's not like a huge genocide, but it's pretty bad, right? I mean, I could understand why someone would want to reduce the confrontation. It makes a lot of sense to me, okay? Okay, so AI is saying it's true. Now, don't be a fucking idiot. You know, you gotta look past AI. You gotta verify the sources yourself manually. So let's just take a look. I looked it up already, of course, for the interest of time. Now, here's the Google patent. Shows it here. Ford Global Technologies, Systems and Methods to Repossess a Vehicle. You have the patent number right here, US 2023, blah, blah, blah. Here are the, here's the patent photography or photo here showing what's up. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Okay, that pretty much confirms it. And then, of course, you have a patent explanation here. Just wanted to show you, the verification process, how we're going to verify that this is true. It's not just bullshit, okay? Now let's listen to him. Continue.
And you ignore notices, the car starts disabling itself. Cruise control, windows, seats, infotainment, and then it escalates. Air conditioning, key fob, door locks. And the car can be programmed to, and I'm quoting here, emit an incessant and unpleasant sound every time the owner is present in the vehicle. If it's an autonomous Ford, the filing says the car can move itself to a nearby repo lot. And if the car is not worth them repossessing, it can drive itself to a junkyard.
Let's pause there for a second. Let me talk to you a little. The problems with this isn't necessarily the repossession process, right? I don't really mind that. I mean, it's insane. If you can't pay your car bill, you have to contact them. You have to do something. You have to go out of your way and resolve the problem. Because if you don't, it will get repossessed, okay? It's inevitable. And it's going to be horrible when it does, because it can be anywhere at any time. At your home, it could be at your work, it could be while you're at the mall or some place, who knows? It sucks. It's not worth it, guys. Just work it out, okay? All right, point being, you could see like some justification behind it where maybe the door's locked, right? And you can't get into the vehicle anymore. But of course, if you look past that and you think a little bit more, well, how can it do that? Obviously, it's connected at all times to the internet, right? To satellite, to 4G, whatever they're using, whatever tech they're using at that time in that vehicle, that model. So that brings up a lot of questions about privacy. If you look at vehicle privacy, it is a huge issue. If you do not disable so many things and call them and, express your civil rights, they are listening to you in your vehicle at all times. They're recording your audio. They're selling your data. They're doing all of these things. We've also seen scares of basically, and this has actually happened, I think it was a GM. I could be wrong. It's been a little while. It was a huge issue where they were selling your, vehicle driving data, how you drive as a person, to the insurance provider. So these people were having their insurance premiums, whatever their insurance rates, go up based on their driving. The problem with that, of course, without getting into it and making this a 30-minute video, is that there are hundreds, maybe even thousands of different reasons why you might be driving the way you're driving. Now, a lot of people drive like shit. I would say the majority. So that's the reality we live in. But there are many cases where maybe someone slammed on their brakes in front of you. Something happened, maybe you're not driving. and something happened with them. Maybe there was an animal running across the road. You know, they were considering the time that you're driving, how many times you brake and how hard you brake. So many different variables, right? It's a huge issue, guys. You can't do it. Even I remember, I think Louis Rossmann talked about this, where the Tesla was, you know, it has regenerative braking. So some people would, you know, they hold their brakes longer for a long period of time, and that was being assessed into the algorithm, and that was a whole issue. There's just so many things that you can think of that causes this problem. Okay. So I just want to say, I could see maybe the doors locking, or, you know, something to reduce this confrontation process where you can't even get in your vehicle anymore. And any damages done to the vehicle, you would have to pay for. And then eventually it would be repossessed. Where it starts getting weird is the autonomy, you know, autonomous vehicles where they can just drive to the junkyard. I mean, that's pretty weird. It's not really just that aspect though, the repossession. Okay, and I have a few more thoughts, but let's finish this video because I can yammer on too much about this.
When people found this, Ford came out and said they had no plans at all of releasing this. Okay, sure, but nobody writes 14 pages on how to torture a customer with their own air conditioning unit unless someone in a meeting said, what if we did this? That's the kill switch economy with a steering wheel. They wrote the contract like a landlord, and this time the landlord can repossess your car from their couch with sound effects. But try filing a patent for a kill switch on a CEO's car. You'd be in a holding cell before lunch, because when we do it, that's a felony. When they do it, that's section 14 of the terms and conditions. It's funny how that works, isn't it? On today.
All right, he's got a good point. Let's talk for a second. I'm going to wrap this up. Here's the thing. The problem isn't just that, you know, it's for repossession. It's where do you draw the line? When we are moving into a reality of technology, a future of technology where everything's connected. Of course, it already is almost there at that point. But you have kill switches being implemented, so when you're driving, if you break the law, and police are chasing you, they can just turn off your car. And that seems really great for safety reasons, you know, stopping people from driving 10,000 miles an hour, trying to escape cops like fucking idiots. There's a lot of things I could think of where it can be considered something great, but the problems become, where do you draw the line? Okay, you know, all this interconnectedness brings a lot of negatives as well. So, for example, at what point is it okay, you know, that they turn off your car, and it's because, well, you missed a red light. You missed a couple red lights. You parked in the wrong place. You went a little bit too fast. You went 5 or 10 over in the wrong area or anywhere. What if there's an emergency and you had the speed, you know, and something happened? You had to dodge something, you had to do something. And now you're sitting in court, or, you know, being arrested or having your car taken away or having it locked up, you know, because something happened and now you have to explain yourself. Then we're seeing a type of overreach that causes a problem for everyone, for any scenario that you could possibly think of. But you could think of many examples, you know, reasons how this could be abused and why. And look, we have a whole history of abuse when it comes to government or corporations and things like that. So it's not a matter of, well, you know, it could happen, maybe not, maybe, you know, maybe it'll be best case scenario. No, it will happen. And the worst case scenario will happen. And then we'll have to fight and sue, and in the meantime, we'll have to deal with the hardships of these types of things. Now look, I'm not an idiot. I think most of you are smart. You know what the future looks like. It's not going to be us driving around, you know, manually forever. It's going to be autonomous. It'll probably be AI. It'll probably be some form of that, you know, where everything is mostly controlled and it drives you to and from location. And beyond that, extremely advanced technologies where we won't be driving at all in a vehicle anymore. But that's way in the future. My point being is that eventually we'll be coming out of this, and accidents will be mostly a thing of the past. So anyhow, I just wanted to point this out. I thought it was really interesting. It's a weird world we're heading into, man. It really is. Things like this, thin ice, and it's always abused. That's my problem. There are good solutions out there for stuff like this, better solutions. There's ways to do this better, correctly, okay? In a way that doesn't destroy your civil rights. It doesn't make you fight for everything, okay? Every time something goes wrong, you don't have to explain yourself to the police or some authority figure. These are things to take seriously. These are things that we're going to have to fight for and change and stop and, you know, and decide on if we want these things or not together. It's weird, man. Anyway, that's it for now. Just wanted to give you some food for thought. I'm curious what you think about this. I'm open-minded. I think it's interesting. It's a great topic. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.